Hi, this is Wayne Tuttle from Legend of the Superstition Mountains, and you're watching Chasing Legends. Okay, one of the things we wanted to do is everybody asks us questions and time again. And we wanted to do something here we can throw in called 5 burning questions. So these are the questions you ask. We try to answer them inside of episodes. We've done them during live broadcasts, but people continue to ask them. So maybe we can use this as something of an FAQ where you'll come here and some of those burning questions you need answers to, we can answer now. Burning question number 5. Where's Eric and Eric? Well, DeLille and Magnuson both live out of state, and to bring them in here to shoot these videos is just financially, it's just not going to work. We do ask them to kind of submit stuff to us, but there is a certain point where we got a deadline. We're getting ready to roll stuff out midsummer every year, and we haven't heard from either one of them. Well, what do? So we have to just move forward. So it's kind of based on that submission, but you know, you always hope if they send us stuff, if we can get something in, you will notice it sometimes seems a little bit out of doesn't seem to be following the flow, but we always try to put it in and represent the boys. But that's kind of the primary reason is, you know, they're in Idaho and they're up in Northern California, and it's just not feasible to bring them in for doing this kind of stuff since we don't monetize and make nothing off of this. All right, here we go. Next one, okay? Burning question number 4. Does Frank ever light that damn cigar? Actually, he does. Once in a blue moon, I'll turn and he will light his cigar. I'll hear the click of his lighter and he'll light a cigar and he'll sit there very happily and smoke it for a time. But for the most part, and I know this is disturbing to so many people, but Frank generally eats the cigars. He puts them in his mouth and he chews on them and he eats them. So in the course of a day, he might eat a couple cigars, but yeah, he kind of sticks in his mouth and he chews on it. It's like a wad of chewing tobacco that slowly gets smaller and smaller and disappears in his mouth. Disgusting, yes, but he does occasionally light them. I've watched him smoke them on occasion. Burning question number 3. What happened to the live broadcast? You guys are going to do this stuff live? That's just so time consuming, and I know I addressed this before, and I always try to address these type of things you know, you got to have kind of an idea of what you want to do. Those took somewhere between 60 and 90 minutes. It's kind of like doing a podcast. We tried working in kind of doing guests or having people pop in. It didn't work very well, and you got to kind of pull the subject matter together. Then plus you have to have it organized. Everything's prepared. You have to have a set time and date that's a regular occurrence, and you can't make it and you're canceling, or you're just popping in last second and you're not really prepared and you're trying to spin it through. And I know people really enjoyed them, and we did probably, you know, we did several seasons of them, and I know people really enjoyed them, but it was just so time consuming and afterwards going back through and trying to see what people said and stuff. So we wanted to kind of do this and kind of change things up. You could always do the idea of a non-live podcast, that type of situation, but the live stuff, it was just so difficult to navigate and try to be on point for week after week after week. And to make sure that the East Coast people could actually catch the live feed in a reasonable hour, and then you were catching the West Coast people when they were actually getting already off work, you had to have set time and dates, and it was just kind of really difficult to navigate. So that was kind of the end of that, of time consumption after several years of doing them. And we've moved to this, which we think this is kind of a neat thing. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, and thank you to all the people that kind of always watch those, because we were getting an audience of anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 people live watching those. So it was kind of working into a kind of a pretty good, cool, big deal. But yeah, not something that you particularly want to take on as a single individual. And again, like I said, we get nothing out of this type of stuff. So we're kind of we will cover some of the same ground from those and put some of those up. But it was just too distracting, too time consuming, and kind of, like I said, we ended up having to cancel so many. All right, check. All right, we're on number 2, right? Burning question number 2. Yeah, on the countdown. All right, what's up with that cross in that cave? Well, what's up with that cross in that cave? Well, one of the things was when we finished up and we wrapped up, everything's kind of pulled out and we go back and we have to wait for a year, and contractually we can't have anything to do with anything. And the Forestry Service didn't want anybody messing with anything in that area. They were pretty upset that we went in, and even though we had a permit, we went up in there and we filmed, and you disturb the bats and their habitat and everything else there. And then there's the danger and risks involved with other people. I know people have made the thing, oh, I got a video, yeah, you know, we were up there and all. And you don't see any footage of up in there, because generally, unless you see that one bits and pieces of footage where Delil's in a very close enclosed area, it's so dark and so dense up there, you can't really get anywhere with light. Since he was kind of up in there by himself, it was just one person. There was just what you get, which there wasn't a lot we got. The stuff between reaching the top of the ladder to the end point, I've seen footage of that, and I was there and heard the audio, and there wasn't just really much to use, because it's, you know, it's pretty disgusting up in there, just to say the least. So you had the Forestry Service given situation, you have the contractual obligations, and that History Channel, that's their big ending, their kind of big deal. And then word came down the pipeline that the cross wasn't there anymore. And we got put into that kind of odd position of, if you go up to try to film it to prove or say that it's here, that it's not here, you're also kind of, you know, we're dealing with the federal government, and they might just turn around and say, hey, we saw you guys up in there. It wasn't worth the risk reward, and if we ended up that History Channel A&E wanted us to go back out and found a way for us to go do something with that we put them in a position where they said, no, those guys went back out there and we can't do this again. So I took the word of it. A Hispanic gentleman, and I can't remember the town, but in episode 1 or 2, one of the early episodes, you'll hear I talk about where the guy's from and all. We got word where everything went and kind of what occurred up there and who had been up there or something. So there was one other individual. I had his last name, but we're not going to get into that, and I'm not going to say anything about him, but was up in that area. But that's kind of wraps that. So it became kind of a situation between contracts and the Forestry Service and the risk element. I mean, let's face it, that is not a lot of fun. And, you know, we don't want people going out there. People have visited it, filmed it and stuff, but we don't want anybody getting hurt, because that's a real shady, shaky spot. Pretty bad situation, and not a fun place to be. So burning question number 1, and we will be doing more of these, so hit the like, you know, subscribe up to our YouTube video. But the number 1 question where you generally ask is, and I'm sure everybody knows that one's coming, is when you guys going to be back on TV? And we've done stuff. There's other stuff we do for other programming, Discovery, Science Channel, Travel Channel, other groups, and including History. And always have continued a relationship with History Channel and some things with them. Unexplained, Unexplored, I popped up in there, and there's other things that have been done. Senart Films has a thing coming out, Last Expedition, and myself, Bob Schuess, will be involved in that. It's kind of up into their wheelhouse of what they want to do. We're always open to listening to people, and there's opportunities and things that come up. Not necessarily legends, but things peripheral that we kind of decide we don't want to do. It would be nice for the 4 or 5 of us to get together and do something again, and it would be nice to, you know, but it would be in the right atmosphere under the right circumstances. I think at this point it's been 4 or 5 years out. That's not unheard of, but at the same time we'd like to kind of put some closure on it for everybody, even for ourselves, because we were kind of like greenlit, 2nd season, everything's moving, and then everything kind of got really murky and weird, which is not worth going into, but the relationship was there. And again, like I said, I've worked with production companies that film stuff for History Channel and stuff, and there's never been a problem with me kind of going right to them. In fact, in a couple instances, History Channel has told the production companies that I was a first contact, because I'm one of the go-to guys for The Lost Dutchman. So there's that there. So it could be any time. You never know. You know, I can't tell you what's going to happen next week, or who's going to suddenly come up and say, you know what, we just heard something, we'd like to kind of get you in and revisit this, or we'd like to bring you guys in and to do something, you know, specific to this. So you never know what's in the pipeline, what's going on in the pipeline right now. So we all have to sit and wait, and no one's going to have a clue because contractually we're not allowed to talk about anything happening during that instant. So it's always something hopeful, and maybe one day we'll be sitting here and I'll say 5 burning questions, and the number 1 burning question I'll answer, I'll say, well, yeah, it'll be on blah, 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 blah. And that would be kind of fun to do. But anyhow, thank you for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and we will catch you next week, next Monday on Chasing Legends. Thank you.